Hello everyone, my name is Tobias and I'm very happy that you find your way to my little YouTube channel. A few months ago I hiked with Anne and my aunt Beate to the summit of the highest mountain of Germany, the Zugspitze. We started in Garmisch-Partenkirchen at the Olympic Stadium and hiked through the Partnachklamm and the Rheintal to the summit. If you want to know how our hike was, stay here and have fun watching. The starting point of our tour to the roof of Germany was the Olympic Stadium in Garmisch-Partenkirchen. From here, we initially went on an asphalted path towards the Partnachklamm. The adventure was almost over right before it started. I took a wrong turn. Luckily, only with my finger on the map. So we reached the gorge a short time later and were able to enter after paying the entrance fee. The Partnachklamm is a 700 meter long and up to 80 meter deep gorge, which was declared a natural monument in 1912. The eponymous Partnach thunders through the middle with a loud roar. Since crossing the gorge can be quite a wet affair, you should have an appropriate rain jacket with you.
Ich werd nass.
After we had passed the gorge, we continued up the Rheintal, mostly within sight of the Partnach. The landscape we were moving through is not an everyday occurrence for us. So I picked up my cell phone every now and then to take a few nice photos. The first opportunity to take a break was at the Bockhütte. But since we wanted to continue to the Knorrhütte and were still quite fit, we decided to take a short break at the next hut. After around 14 kilometers, we reached the Rheintalanger Hütte. A good opportunity for a break before the final climb to the Knorrhütte. While I treated myself to coffee and cake as a reward, Anne was driven to the Partnach. She can tell you, it was quite cool. Freshly strengthened and recovered, we set out to overcome the last 3.5 kilometers and around 650 meters in altitude. When we arrived at the end of the Valley Basin, by far the most strenuous part of our day stage awaited us. The climb to the Knorrhütte. Despite the break we had taken beforehand, progress was very slow. Exhausted, we finally reached our destination, the Knorrhütte. We set off for the summit early in the morning. There was just 4 kilometers of trail ahead of us, with a relaxed 900 meters in altitude. In other words, the trail only knew one direction that day, uphill. More or less recovered from the exertions of the previous day, we faced this final challenge. The route to the summit seemed very popular, and so there were many others along with us. Somewhat surprisingly for us, in addition to the many hiking enthusiasts, we also came across a herd of sheep, happily grazing there. As you can see, they were probably very eaten. There was hardly any green stuff left. Our goal also came into view on the right, pretty high up. Finally, we reached the Zugspitzplatt. From here, we had the opportunity to take the train. What I'm talking about. Of course, we didn't even think about it and turned to the final climb. While we painfully, slowly hiked up the scree slope, putting one foot in front of the other, we were given impressive proof that things can go downhill much faster.
Ja, genau, so macht man das.
Im Zweifelsfall lassen wir ihn liegen, ne? Tritt sich fest. Bitte? Also im Zweifelsfall lassen wir ihn liegen, er tritt sich fest. Ja.
And as if the drudgery over scree wasn't enough, there was a longer rope secured passage between us and the joy of reaching the summit. During the slow ascent, there were repeated opportunities to take a look at the Zugspitzplatt and the Schneeferner. Further up, we finally went over a narrow ridge. I had already practiced in the Black Forest beforehand, so it didn't look quite so awkward anymore. But of course, it was still no comparison to Anne's light-footedness. Here we had our first view of the other side of the Zugspitze. One last climb and then we had made it. Arrival at the rather built-up roof of Germany. I in front, N close behind, and last but not least, Beate. Everyone exhausted, but happy. The chosen tour was very scenic. Right at the beginning the spectacular Partnachklamm, then the beautiful Rheintal and mountain or panoramic views. Even though it may have looked more or less easy in the video, the tour is incredibly strenuous, not least because of the sporty stage division I have made, and requires sure-footedness from the end of the Rheintal. If you don't want to be quite as sporty on the first day, spend the night at the Rheintalanger-Hütte or divide the tour into 3 stages. No matter how, you should definitely have endurance and sure-footedness for the tour. What was very good on the way? The signs and markings to the individual destinations. That was our hike to the Zugspitze. A very cool but also very strenuous tour. Yeah, and that's it for today. I hope you had fun accompanying us. I wish you a lot of fun hiking, and we will see each other again next time.